I'm very disappointed by the lack of downloads my videos have gotten, regardless how many people have gotten them. Do not make it easy for them by saying whether or not you've downloaded my videos. But do know that no matter how many people have downloaded them, it is not enough. My 9 Witnesses to PSYOP playlist needs to be downloaded. Recanting their statements later will not help them. I assure you. No one's going to believe that when you couple it with the phone hijacking, the consistent videos of phone hijacking. There's no way around the evidence I've presented. None. And the most key evidence presented is covertly recorded or recorded with somebody who has said on record that they're telling the truth now, and if they were to recant later, that they would be telling the truth originally on my videos and not later. So for them to turn around and say, well, he made me say that, or he wanted me to say that and I didn't mean it, or anything like that, is nonsense, is bullshit. Period. None of these people are my girlfriend or something. None of these people I'm having sex with. Just absolute nonsense to think that I got them to say that. So keep that in mind. Now with that said, I will never recant later as well. And if in the future, for any reason, I change my story and recant it, or pretend I'm not being gang stalked specifically, or that all this was some kind of a joke, or or I was mentally ill magically, then I would be lying in the future, not in my original videos. So I know that I'll never change my testimony, but I'm doing this to make sure you all know exactly how truthful I've been. I'll never take any deal. There's nothing in it for me. And listen very carefully. I despise homosexuals more than words could possibly ever describe. I have since I was a little kid. I know how sick they are. As a little kid, I was aware of other little kids being raped by gays. I've seen the news articles. I've seen the controversies on TV. I will never change my stance on any of the spiritual bottom feeder groups. Now, even if you do not believe that I'm a man of honor that is incapable of doing a dishonorable thing, especially with so many people, being affected by this, by the New World Order, by the government. Let's look at it another way. And I've pointed it out before many times. Keep in mind that even right now I am drugged. I have lived my life from principle and doing the right thing all my life. It has kept me at home. For someone to sell out after they've passed their mid-30s, which is where I'm very close to, makes no sense. You're getting old. I don't even have kids. What's in it for me? Nothing. I didn't live my life chasing money as so many young black men have. That was never my primary or even secondary goal. Ever. It never will be. I cannot live my life with that much guilt, being some kind of selfish coward, being self-indulgent, narcissistic, and hedonistic. And neurotic, really, if you're going to be that way. That's not who I am. I'm only concerned with doing God's will getting my rightful place in the martial arts world, especially because I can do God's will. But even if it was not in my thinking that it was God's will, which it is, my martial arts code does not allow me to throw fights or pretend that I'm not as great as I am, or even to pretend that I'm greater than I am. I represent myself exactly as I see myself from over 2 decades of research, so help me God. My martial arts challenge is fair, and that is exactly how I see it. It is traditional. It is the most common form of competition, so help me God. I do not believe that anyone in American history, now or in the past, could beat me. And I honestly do not believe anyone will be able to do what I've done. I've honestly been actively searching for the competition, and they have been hiding and avoiding. I've honestly had over 10 people accept just to turn around and flake on me. Only one person has showed up in the time period. I've honestly won more sparring matches than I can count or remember. So help me God. I don't know what the true number is. I just know it's a whole lot. That is the truth of this. No one has ever given me any reason to believe that anyone is better than I am. I'm just on such a whole nother level. And so help me God, I've presented enough evidence to make it show that everyone who has seen my videos, especially my 9 Witness to PSYOP playlist, has seen my presentations, has seen that drugged look in my eye, has heard, my different speeches, zombie-like speeches. Anyone who's seen my videos knows that I tell the truth unless they're an idiot. I mean, you would have to be beyond stupid. Beyond stupid. You do your research with the patches. You see these PSYOP battalions and units actually exist. Especially people in the military. They know that I'm right. They know that billions of dollars are spent on marketing. And I'm sure that billions of dollars are spent on, marketing for psychiatric drugs. And billions of dollars are spent on PSYOPs. Not to mention different marketing sectors that work in collaboration with the pharmaceutical sector and the military. When you look at it, we're looking at tens of billions of dollars being spent on pushing this propaganda that has to do with what is socially normative. And it overlaps with psychiatric misconceptions, if you will, or misconceptions that have to do with psychiatry that I've definitively crushed. So when you look at this thing, you are looking at a man of honor who deserves to be in charge of this nation. I have such a powerful concentration and insight that no one can beat me at a debate drugged, and no one can beat me at martial arts drugged. And when you look at martial arts and the highest levels of it, not UFC kind of brute force, kind of, puppet for some trainer kind of thing, displaying a bare minimum of skills. Because UFC fighters are notorious for their speed and their precision. It's more like a wrestling kind of thing. There's a certain form of intelligence, but it's nothing compared to the type of intelligence that a master at transferable, universal, translatable, transformable skills displays. This is how it is. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. The type of intelligence I have cannot be calculated or quantified. No one will ever understand the type of genius that I am, and the enemies will always downplay it. I can't possibly imagine someone who's the enemy of God and Christianity giving me my credit. because of my strong stance on Christianity. I cannot ever imagine a racist from the white power structure or a racist atheist Jew giving me my credit. I cannot possibly imagine it. I cannot possibly imagine psychiatrists or mental health giving me my credit, generally speaking, other than the few exceptions who are people who mean well, you know, who admit psychiatry is a fraud, and psychologists don't really know what they're talking about. You know, they might give me my credit, but for the most part, I cannot possibly imagine these people giving me my credit. I cannot possibly imagine someone who pretends to see it my way, who's in a secret society, who's controlled opposition, giving me my credit. Cannot possibly imagine. It's completely absurd. I'll give an example. Can you imagine, you know, a liberal who's a passionate Hillary Clinton supporter giving Donald Trump any credit, whether he deserves it or not? I'm not going to get into. But can you imagine? It's the same reason. You know, they're just not going to give the political opposition their credit. And when you look at how I am opposed to the majority of Americans politically, as human beings, I do what is right and best for them. But politically, very few people are on my side politically. Spiritually, it's probably even less. And so, when you look at this thing, you will see a lot of people with their words not giving me my credit, who know damn well I'm right. Deep down especially. In their souls especially. There are a lot of people who just are so caught up in playing their role in society, if you will, or the New World Order, or their political group, however you want to slice it. There are so many people who are lost in their complexes and egos, so many people who, you know, basically are arrogant and they're presumptuous and they are too busy trying to make their race look good. Chinese, Korean, Japanese, they're trying to make their race look good and their martial arts that have come from their race look good. And there's too many people who are in the UFC, like Dana White, who make money from this stuff. There's too many people who are too invested in the opposition view, spiritually, you know, or non-spiritually, like atheists, or martial arts, you know, the military, the American government, holding the order, holding the line. There are too many people interested in social control, finance, politics. When you look at this, you cannot possibly, honestly, so help me God, expect that people who value what they're doing and their race and their money and what have you more than the truth to give me my credit. You cannot expect that. But what you can expect, so help me God, is that actions speak louder than words, and that for the same reason they won't give me their credit is the same reason if they could beat me, they would have. What I am doing is too much of a threat, even though I don't get a lot of views. There is a huge potential for my story to come out and destroy the political opposition. That is why if you see it my way, even if you're playing a role in the New World Order, it is the right thing. It is the wise thing to download my videos, get my story out. How I called out all the top martial artists in the state by name in my top martial arts challenge almost 3 years ago now. How all this massive network of millions of gang-stalking Americans, you know, could have reached out to anyone who could beat me in their network. All these people trained in hand-to-hand combat, and they couldn't find anyone who could beat me drugged. This needs to be known. If you care about humanity, if you care about your family, if you believe in God, you must understand the relevance, the significance, and the importance of my top martial artist challenge. If you can put racial animosity, racial, political, and spiritual differences beside you, behind, away from the situation, and do the right thing, you need to do it.